Ranking all Muzan raid slayers by contribution. What are they talking about? If my video load, don't tell me Genshin doesn't stop.
In the final saga of Demon Slayer, we would
My whole stream lag? Like, no.
see all who remains of the Demon Slayer court take on Muzan and his upper moons within the depths of the underground Infinity Castle. Here, we would see many of our favorite Demon Slayers give their hearts and souls in multiple battles all throughout this 70 chapter battle climax to the story. In this video, I'll be ranking the contribution of each participant to the entire battle against Muzan and all of his forces, while explaining why they sit in their respective ranks.
I know, I already know, bro. Meaty is about to be like one of the lowest ones. I know.
I'll cut this into short and get straight into the video. Something I truly love about this arc is the truth that when you really examine all of these characters,
which are not even going to be on the list though, so
everybody on the list had pretty good overall performances against Muzan and his subordinates, with Gotoge handling this arc pretty well and allowing everybody to have a pretty good showcase. But of course, I'm gonna have to start with Genya at the bottom.
Genya. Also, why is my quality so horrible? Oh wait, are we're taking all of the arc, Genga. We're taking all of the arc.
Enter into the Muzan raid with his first and only battle being against
I was thinking there's only talking about the sunrise, sunset, whatever.
Shibo, the Upper Moon 1 and the third strongest character in the series. As the
Genya knew he was dead right there, look.
Genya was already put at a huge disadvantage. He would find himself cut in half and stuck on the ground the most.
Yikes, my whole video gonna be lagging. Maybe I do have to watch it in 144. Like, but I see pixels. Hold on. I'll at least do 720. Come on, Genshin.
Being unable to do anything but spectate against this calamity.
Yep.
To be fair to Genya, majority of characters are getting washed by Kokushibo in less than a minute under the same circumstances. Eventually, at the climax of the fight, Genya would find himself to be inspired by Tanjiro's advice of being the weakest person on the battlefield, being the most likely to catch their opponents off guard. So he would use his advice to digest Kokushibo's living blade and absorb its power, using a blood demon art to directly attack Kokushibo and create a tree around his body in order to immobilize him.
You know, I've been wanting to reread Demon Slayer, especially this,
as it would finally
I feel like it's gotten
opportunity to
buzzy
head this
after it's been
monster
so long.
and bring an end to the Upper Moon 1. Now, despite how bad this looks and Genya being at the bottom of the list and all,
he did his thing. He still did his thing.
It is of my belief that without a single one of these characters present, Muzan and his forces would have walked everybody down.
Well, of course.
So he's still pretty essential in the grand scheme of things. Genya immobilizing Kokushibo at the very end of the battle did not only grant the win to Sanemi and the others, but it allowed them to take down Kokushibo with less effort and damage than they normally would have had to withstand. And this allows them to bring their A game to Muzan. Kanao finds herself above Genya on the list, as she was the one to primarily fight against Doma after the sacrifice of Shinobu.
What? Hold on. I'm sorry. Maybe Mitsuri did more than I thought, because Kanao over or under Mitsuri?
Most of the fighting out of the three characters who faced Doma, so I'll give her that. But
and
she didn't
Inosuke?
contribute much to the battle against Muzan himself. Kanao was also the one to save Tanjiro at the end of the arc by injecting the final dose of anti-demon medicine into Tanjiro. Despite that, she didn't really do much. She did close 2 out of the 3 most important battles in the raids, but that's about it. This isn't a slight on her because she was certainly necessary with her enhanced vision against both Doma and Tanjiro specifically, but she still finds herself around the bottom of the list.
I need to see
Inosuke
Inosuke
against
next.
Muzan, but I don't really mention it because
She
we
didn't
don't
do
see her
anything.
fighting him ourselves. Muzan just mentions it in chapter 190 the moment that it's revealed that her, Zenitsu, and Inosuke are all present on the battlefield. After Kanao, we have the first pillar on the list.
If he says Mitsuri or Shinobu, maybe, I don't know. There's no way. Under Inosuke? Is that not crazy?
Kanroji.
Yeah. I mean, I seen it coming, but I don't feel good about it, especially being under Inosuke. Did Inosuke do more than I thought he did?
After Kanao, we have the first pillar on the list, Kanroji. Kanroji throughout majority of the raid would be stuck in combat with the replacement Upper Moon who controlled the entire
her and
Infinity
Obanai.
Castle.
They didn't do anything in that.
She made up for it by being one of the initial combatants to challenge Muzan, and she would fight him for almost the entire first half of the battle, but she would be knocked out earlier than Giyu and Obanai, despite them starting around the same time. And then she would come back.
Okay, look, I know Mitsuri. That's what I'm saying. I know Mitsuri didn't do too much besides the arm rip. But look, this is what I'm saying. Shouldn't Kanao be above Mitsuri then? You know? Because she was crucial in defeating Doma at the very least. Like, Kanao did a lot.
Toward the end to stop one of his blades from cutting Tanjiro with nothing but her physical strength. While I do value fighting Muzan above really anything else in the raid, you can't deny the fact that Mitsuri really wasn't as present as the rest of the combatants in the raid.
Yeah, she didn't do anything in the castle.
She was essential in holding off Muzan at the peak of his strength and didn't really contribute much past that. She just went out way too early.
She did.
Tokito's performance would consist.
This is crazy. They have the 2 best Hashira ranked this low. I'm about to turn this video off. Seriously though. Maybe Inosuke just isn't counted. Like, there's no way Inosuke is not being counted. But Inosuke above Muichiro as well? I guess Muichiro didn't do too much either. But he did he not like do... He was the reason Kokushibo died. So, I don't know. Inosuke is just climbing the ranks a little too high for me.
Of the Upper Moon Kokushibo, but he would fall relatively quickly.
Yes, he was. Like, his sword didn't... It was his sword that was the reason he saw his reflection, right? Does that not count for something?
And be saved by Sanemi and Gyome. After being down for a decent amount of time, he would re-enter the battle and save Sanemi from certain death while doing so, going on to stab his blade inside.
Inosuke was fighting Muzan while all the other pillars were out of commission. Okay, I forgot about that. Then. I don't believe that. That sounds like fake. That sounds like you just lying though. I can't imagine I'm sorry. I can't imagine Inosuke fighting Muzan. But if you're telling me that, then sure. Good job, Inosuke. Good job.
Kokushibo and grip it with so much strength that it would turn red and burn him from the inside out.
Hold on.
And grip it with certain death while doing so. Going on to stab his blade inside of Kokushibo and grip it with so much strength that it would turn red and burn him from the inside out, contributing to the defeat of the Upper Moon 1. After this, he would retire from the raid and pass away. So that's about all he did. Tokito places at 9 as well, because while he did hold off the Upper Moon for a little bit, save Sanemi, and be essential to landing the final blow, he didn't even make it to the Muzan fight.
He didn't.
Despite this, he sits equal with Kanroji because he still contributed a lot to the success of Sanemi and Gyome when they were fighting the Upper Moon 1.
That makes
Without
sense.
him, they probably would have gotten really messed up or maybe even died.
Yep.
He clearly had a big role in the grand scheme of things.
They were all very...
just not as much as those above him.
Yeah, they were all very key. They were all key. I couldn't think of the word.
Inosuke Hashibira.
Okay, thank you.
Inosuke's list of feats in the Muzan raid would consist of him being integral to the fight against Doma alongside Kanao and his participation against Muzan himself, especially toward the end. In the battle against Doma,
I need to see this.
He would do a strong amount of damage against the Upper Moon while providing many opportunities for Kanao to land blows herself, defend herself, or even reinforcing her blades with his own so she can land the final blow. When fighting against Muzan, he'd make his entrance at chapter 190 before he's put down by one of Muzan's blood demon arts in the very next chapter, but he would make a return in chapter 197 to battle Muzan once more while everybody else was down. Soon after this, Zenitsu and Tanjiro would join him in the final phase of the battle against Muzan in order to finish him off, as he was essential to this part, with the 3 Slayers constantly covering one another from Muzan's attacks and whittling down the last of his strength. Inosuke also played a pretty big role in holding off the possessed Tanjiro, as he was really the only one who could fight at that moment. After Inosuke, our favorite crybaby Zenitsu bolts in at 7. Surprisingly enough,
bruh, chill out. Inosuke is cool. But the GOAT, I'm not taking it that far.
Zenitsu managed to hold his own pretty well throughout the entire Infinity Castle saga. As he begins
But
his run
here
with
is a goat on the screen right here though. Zenitsu.
Upper Moon 6, Kaigaku, and manages to come out on top completely solo. Granted, it's due to Kaigaku being a brand new demon that Zenitsu was able to win here, as Yushiro states right after their fight that if Kaigaku had even a year to train with his new abilities,
he would have been done.
He would have washed Zenitsu instantly.
Oh, Yushiro about to be top 3.
Upper moons tend to be hundreds of years old, so it makes sense. Despite this, Zenitsu still took a dub against one of Muzan's head honcho solo, and that does have a lot of importance to the overall raid, despite the circumstances. Also, like Inosuke, Zenitsu was pivotal in the final parts against Muzan, as he, Tanjiro, and Inosuke worked together and used everything they had in order to coordinate their attacks and save one another against the exhausted and weakened Muzan while everybody else was down. This was just as important as his accomplishment of taking down one of Muzan's commanders solo. All in all, Zenitsu finds himself at 7 due to similar reasons that Inosuke found himself at 8. But him taking out one of the head honcho solo just gives him the edge, considering the fact that this allowed the Demon Slayer Corp to spread out their forces more on the other demons who needed it more. At 6, we have Tomioka Giyu. Giyu was pivotal to many events in the final saga.
I mean, it makes sense considering the other people, but I didn't think he was going to be that low.
And saving Tanjiro at the very end of it all. When battling Akaza, Giyu and Tanjiro were basically side by side and taking turns holding off the upper moon as the other was gaining strength or attempting to figure out a way to defeat him. Eventually, Tanjiro manages to behead Akaza, and the two move on to Muzan. Giyu manages to put up a pretty good performance against Muzan, as he's able to hold his own from the very beginning of the fight. And he puts up a pretty good performance all the way up to where Muzan casts his Nerve Blood Demon Art. This is important to note, as Giyu was the only character in the cast to fight the entire first half of the battle with no breaks or temporary retreats.
About to be though.
After this, Giyu doesn't really do much up until the final parts of the battle.
He don't do nothing but lose his hand.
Demon form, and Tanjiro's possessed by the remnants of Muzan. Although he contributed a fair bit, it wasn't as much as some of the other characters in those moments. Giyu finds himself high because he was consistent and reliable.
Like high on the list
in his battles, while contributing massively to the downfall of Upper Moon 3. On top of this, the GOAT came out alive. Can't say that about a lot of your other GOATs. Hold
on. Giyu should have died.
The top 5 on this list.
I'm playing. I like Giyu.
Sanemi. If he's this high, you know he put in a lot of work in the final saga. And this applies to everybody above him as well.
Number 1 demon
Sanemi
and
Muzan on the list,
and he survived
against the 2 most powerful demons in the series, Upper Moon 1 and Muzan. First, Sanemi enters the battle against Upper Moon 1 after both Genya and Muichiro are put down relatively easily. Unlike the other two, he's able to hold his own for a fair bit before both Gyome show up and Kokushibo decides to try a bit more. Alongside Gyome, the two managed to put up a pretty good fight against the Upper Moon 1, but they did require the help of Muichiro and Genya to gain an edge over their opponent and win. Despite this, both Sanemi and Gyome still did the heavy lifting of the fight. Sanemi proceeds on to the Muzan fight and manages to fight for a good portion of the first half like the other pillars did, while contributing to the final parts of it by attacking the Muzan baby demon thing at the very end. Sanemi finds himself so high because he contributed massively to the defeat of Kokushibo while doing a decent job against Muzan. Defeating Kokushibo is a big deal compared to the other Upper Moons because he is just as capable of wiping out everybody with not much trouble as Muzan is.
Hold on. So is Doma and Akaza though. I know there's like a significant, I guess, gap between them. But even Doma is crazy strong. Same with Akaza.
He is just as capable of wiping out everybody with not much trouble as Muzan is. Kokushibo was even such a big threat that Kiria considered sending Giyu and Tanjiro
I know Kokushibo different though,
Sanemi, Muichiro, and Genya just to confirm Kokushibo's defeat. So yeah, defeating Kokushibo is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Now Iguro finds himself at 4 solely due to his performance against Muzan.
Yep, he was doing his thing
alone. Despite not being present for a majority of the arc, he would be present to face the final boss of the series and put up a crazy stat line while doing so. He would battle Muzan for almost the entire first part, go on to be the first person to
hold on. You know what that means. You know who's top 3. Y'all, type it in the chat. Type what? Goat Nobu. Yeah, type Goat Nobu. No, Shinobu did make the list. Type Goat Nobu in the chat.
Manifest the Red Blade.
She's about to be top 3.
Giving everybody the idea to utilize Red Blades themselves, and then save many other people multiple times during the battle. Even after Muzan uses his demon art, he is the first one to get up from the attack by a long shot compared to everybody else. And he would still help Tanjiro fight against Muzan while everybody was down for a few chapters. Then finally, he sacrifices himself by throwing himself in front of Muzan while he was trying to eat Tanjiro.
Yep.
Iguro was the pillar to contribute the most out of them all to the direct defeat of Muzan himself.
Yep.
And that gets him all the way up here. He constantly and consistently kept Muzan busy with battle and prevented him from escaping over and over for an extended amount of times while saving the other characters quite a few times. Just an insane performance overall from a character who didn't do anything the entire series.
Oh dang,
At the
took
top
it that
3,
far.
We begin with Gyome Himejima.
Oh my gosh, Shinobu top 2.
Gyome finds
Where she
himself up there
belong?
because he was the primary reason for Kokushibo's defeat. He put in tons of pain against Muzan right after.
No, Shinobu right where she belong.
Sanemi, if Sanemi did more, to be honest. And Gyome was also able to hold off Kokushibo solo, while Sanemi and everybody else had a break to recover and get themselves back into the battle. Nobody could take Gyome's place in the battles against Kokushibo and Muzan and survive. He just provided too much firepower and strength to the Demon Slayers. I don't think his spot requires too much explanation. Act 2, we've got the hero of the story, Tanjiro. The reason why I placed—
Hold on. Hold on. Is number 1 who I think it is? Don't say goodbye. Is number 1 who I think it is? Is it the GOAT? Look, I'm gonna type it in the chat for y'all since somebody in here don't want to say it. There you go.
Tanjiro all the way up here is because, like Himejima, he cannot be replaced by anybody else in the cast of the entire Muzan raid. Firstly, Tanjiro was the only character who could put down Akaza for good, as he is not only the counter to Akaza, but Tanjiro's innate character is what reminded Akaza of his family and prevented him from evolving in strength, forcing him to give up and take himself out. Tanjiro also had a similar effect on Kokushibo, as Kokushibo would see Tanjiro as the physical manifestation of Yorichi's success and techniques being passed down, while his couldn't be passed down to anybody, proving himself to be a failure. This convinced Kokushibo to let himself finally die, instead of continuing to evolve as he had understood that he went down the wrong path. Tanjiro, when fighting Muzan, would be able to fight Muzan for longer than anybody else. Although he got knocked out in the beginning phases of the battle, when nobody else could fight, Tanjiro was there, single-handedly holding Muzan off and stalling him out enough for Shinobu and Tamayo's medicine to actually take effect on him.
Hear that, Shinobu and Tamayo's medicine
to win. He also prevented Muzan's escape multiple times. The sun-breathing technique of Tanjiro's played a massive role in the battle against Muzan and stalling him out. He's just irreplaceable in the grand scheme of things. Also, holding off Muzan completely alone is extremely important because he was the only thing preventing Muzan from cutting down the entire cast.
Tamayo and Shinobu are like a unit.
Finally, at number 1, we have Shinobu.
Yes, yeah, right where she belongs. Hold on.
Raid after a
Here, I don't think y'all heard it. I'm gonna rewind it.
They were down and knocked out.
Number 1 is
Finally,
Shinobu.
At number 1, we have Shinobu. Yes, Shinobu
right
was
where
the
she
first
belongs.
person to get clapped in the raid after a pretty lackluster performance against the Upper Moon 2.
She did what she could.
No denying the fact that she is
she
the
did her
primary
thing.
reason for the defeat of both Muzan and Upper Moon 2 through her poisons. Doma is no Kokushibo, but he's also no slouch. Had Shinobu not been present to do what she did, Muzan would have operated at full power the entire raid, and Doma wouldn't have been able to be put down by Inosuke and Kanao, as she hard carried that fight with her poisoning of Doma. She also crafted the aging part of the poison that nerfed Muzan into the ground.
Come on,
it is impossible to win without her contributions.
Impossible, literally impossible. Easily number 1.
That poison just did way too much damage to the character.
Well, of course,
If you thought the list was done,
nope.
Guess what? It isn't.
It isn't.
At 0, we have a special bonus pick in the form of Yorichi. Yorichi Sugikuni.
I'm not hearing the rest of this. I'm liking the video though. I like that you put Shinobu where she belong at number 1. I'm gonna disregard the number 0 spot. Let's see.